Check it out. What is the deal? What is the deal? Welcome to the No Pick Show, but there's no handholder. We do with facts, not emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you haven't already. As always, I'm repping that big three. We trying to get it popping. Make sure y'all support Ice Cube and what he's doing. Make sure y'all support this live. Shut it live. Hit that like button. I got the notification, so I'm hoping you got it as well. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Happy Sunday. I'm hoping y'all had a blessed, productive weekend. You understand me? Today is going to be an interesting show because I think, generally speaking, people have been pretty pessimistic surrounding the Pelicans this offseason. Some of that being realistic, you know what I'm saying? I do think they've had been some extremes, but I think for the most part on this show, we try to keep things balanced, try to keep things in its proper perspective. But you can't tell people how to feel. You can't tell people how to think. You know what I'm saying? It's not a dictatorship. Whoa, shout out to the homie Shaqzilla in the building. Shout out to the homie Fist Black Star, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in early. And yeah, man. So we're not gonna waste no time. We're just gonna get into it. Now I'm gonna play this video. And the reason I'm playing this video is because I want to give you guys some perspective on how I don't want the Pelicans to feel and how I don't want the Pelicans to approach this off season. I saw this video the other day. A lot of people have seen it. So I want to play it for you and get your perspective on it. Shout out to the homie J-Dog in the building. Shout out to the homie Zilla. Man, much love to all y'all. And yeah, J-Dog, yeah, absolutely, bro. Make sure you send that that question in. I'll send those questions in, brother. And we can definitely talk about it, man. Absolutely. 2X Key in the building. Nola Ant, what's happening, man? Salute to all y'all. Let's get into it.
I want a rich nigga. Yeah. Yep. I want a rich nigga. I want a rich nigga.
Why did you pop your balloon?
It was the comment. It was the rich comment.
I understand.
Yeah, it's your preference, and go for what you got. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
When you say rich, what you mean by that?
Like, I want to be spoiled. I want to be taken care of. Like, I want to be the queen that I am.
So you did state, after saying you wanted a rich nigga, right? You wanted to be put up and taken care of. So that means if that happens, right, are you still going to work?
I'm still going to work because that's the hustle in me. It's in me, not on me.
Do you have kids?
Yep, I sure do. I have 4 kids.
That's too many. You're gorgeous. Like, I wanted to elaborate, like, get you to elaborate on the rich nigga, but you need a rich nigga for real. So
no, I don't.
Now, this bitch is obviously out of her mind, right? Shout out to the homie Clarence in the building. This is first world bird babble. Bitch is clearly out of her mind, delusional, right? So what I don't want is to, when we talk about some of the price points that have allegedly been set, because none of this has been necessarily confirmed, right? I don't want people to overplay their hands in situations where you could definitely see some improvement being met, like maybe not at the price point that you originally set, but sometimes you got to bite the bullet, take a little bit less to get where you're going. You know what I'm saying? And to be real, for the most part through this season, when I speak about players having my bads, like, oh, my bad, that didn't work out. Nobody wants that. Even though it happens every game, it happens every season. It's going to be some of my bads, but people aren't going to accept that moving forward. And that goes for the front office as well. No one is going to want to accept the my bads. Like, oh, my bad, I drafted this guy. He ended up being a bust. Oh, my bad, I gave this guy an extension. It ended up being a bad contract. Oh, my bad, I did this. Oh, my bad, I did that. Because people at this point are already on the brink. Like you're on the brink. People want some positive momentum. And I understand that. I do think people have exaggerated a bit far as the pessimism, but I can't tell you how to feel. And if shit don't go right, everyone's going to feel the same. Everyone's going to be pissed. No, like I just said, no one's going to want to accept the my bads. Now, J-Dog, he got some interesting comments coming in. We're going to address some of his comments, and we're going to go through some of the players, and we're going to ask the question, like, is this a sign of things to come? Or, you know, can things go up from here? What's a realistic worst case scenario for several of these guys? Because I think some of these guys have upside. I think things can't nearly be as worse as it was last year, but it's still a possibility. So shout out to the homie J-Dog. J-Dog said a Reddit user that has a 93% hit rate on news becoming true. So he called the LeBron James news hours before it was announced. Everyone seems to think this guy's worked for the league office. I mean, J-Dog, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, But I mean, I think most of us kind of felt like he was going to Philly, to be real. But that's a good point. J Dog say first one said the Pelicans have interest in Spencer Jones and Jeremy Sohan. If they're going after defensive wings, does that mean Hurt, Peavy, or McGowan's on the way out? I would imagine that it doesn't mean McGowan's or Peavy are necessarily on the way out. Both those guys, of course, have guaranteed contracts. Spencer Jones got a great deal with OKC. I'm kind of hoping Denver match, to be honest. I don't know what OKC is doing. The Jeremy Sohan thing, I hope that's not true, because that would be one of those situations to where, okay, in theory, that's a redraft, right? You're redrafting him in theory, giving him a minimum contract and a minimal role. But Spencer Jones compared to Jeremy Sohan at this stage is the far superior player. I have heard that they did have interest in Spencer Jones, right? I have heard that. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say that most of the times when things like this come out, when it's like, oh, the Pelicans have interest in this person, or the Pelicans have spoken to this person, it's been immediately thwarted or denied. I'll say that. Like, for example, if I say the Pelicans have interest in, I'm just throwing the name out there. The Pelicans have interest in, I don't know, Dylan Harper, right? And I say, yo, dude, you guys have interest in Dylan Harper? Most of the time, it's like, no, that's not true. So, I would say take it with a grain of salt, but I have heard that as well as it pertains to J Dog. Kathy says she needs a real job. Absolutely. She needs a real job. Definitely. J Dog says second one, say Miami is angling for a trade for DeJounte Murray and Klay Thompson. Is DeJounte a good idea when we only have one other point guard on the roster? Now, that's a very interesting point. Now, if you look at some of the things that's going on right now with Jeremiah Fierce, him in the open runs, balling out of control, him hitting the ground running this offseason, it's looking like a home run pick. I'm not going to lie. I don't know who did the scouting and evaluating with Jeremiah Fierce, but they did an excellent job at this point. I could see, to me, the DeJounte thing always made sense before they extended Andrew Wiggins, because now I don't really know how that deal would come to fruition. I'm imagining Klay is bought out somehow and he signs for like a minimum to go to Miami, and maybe they put Jovic and someone else to match the salary for DeJounte. I just don't really see how that deal happens. Maybe I'm missing someone on their roster, but I haven't heard that. From my understanding, DeJounte in the front office has a good relationship, so I'm not sure anything would happen with him until during the season, like deadline at the earliest. I'm hoping that changes. I'm hoping someone just comes and blows them away with a deal. And there's vet PGs on the roster, and DeJounte is one of those guys. Since we're already on the subject, DeJounte is one of those guys that you're hoping for upside. Like if you look at DeJounte's numbers, I hate to torture y'all with DeJounte's numbers, but we just got to do it. If you got kids around, make sure they cover their eyes right now. So if you look at DeJounte's numbers, and make sure y'all hit that like button while y'all in the building. Going back to last season, while I do think he would fit better in Miami at this stage, DeJounte last season, of course, played 14 games, immediately started when he came back, played about 28 minutes a game. Shot 48% from the field, 30% from beyond the arc on 4 attempts. Got to the free throw line about close to his career average. He's not a guy that's very explosive and just going to get to the free throw line. Rebounded well, which tends to be the tradition for him. He's a very good rebounder, crazy wingspan, especially for a guard. 6 assists, 1 steal a game. That's solid. 3.5 turnovers. That's really bad for a lead guard. Yeah, that's really bad for a league guard. 16 points on 13 field goal attempts. Really bad, right? Now, if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and counter the worst case argument, I can say, well, Chaz, his final year in Atlanta, he played 78 games, shot 45% from the field, which isn't much better. 36% from beyond the arc, which is much better. Still rebounded well. Turnovers were a little bit down. Passed the ball well. Averaged 22 points on 18 shots a game. Now, this is closer to what you need. Now, I don't think he'll have the shot volume. If DeJounte is shooting 18 shots a game, that's not necessarily a good thing, in my opinion. I think it should probably be closer to 16, 17 at the most. But in another world, when DeJounte played, not last season, but the season prior, when he initially hurt his wrist, DeJounte didn't play well. In 31 games, he averaged 17 points on nearly 16 shots, 15.9. Let's just say 16, bro. 39% from the field. And this has nothing to do with the injuries. 39% from the field, 29% from beyond the arc on 5 attempts a game. Didn't really get to the free throw line, like I said before. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, not bad. 3 turnovers compared to 7 assists is pretty good. Like, you'll take that. You would appreciate your lead guard keeping it below 3, but whatever. So where's the medium here, right? And I'm interested in what y'all think about in the comments. Is DeJounte's performance the last 2 seasons the sign of things to come? That's my concern. Is this a sign of things to come? And if it is indeed a sign of things to come, would you be better suited just going into the season saying, look, DeJounte, we fucks with you heavy. The young boy gonna start, bro. He gonna start, bro. He gonna start or he gonna start beside you. But either way, he is starting. And would DeJounte be receptive to that? Now, from things I heard dating back to last season, he wouldn't. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that he came and started immediately coming off a devastating injury. I don't think that's a coincidence. Having not played, having not been around the team, and he was just thrusted into the starting lineup. And, to my understanding, that's what he wanted. So I'm interested in knowing what you guys think in the comments. Will we see the DeJounte from 2023 going into 2024? Will we get a reemergence of the all-star level DeJounte? Now, DeJounte has never been a very efficient player. That's just not his game. He's a volume guy. Like, he's never, looking at everything, he's a very inefficient player. Like, it ain't crazy, but he's never been a super efficient player. Just looking at everything, especially from beyond the arc. I think that ATL year might have been a bit of an anomaly. But if I'm not mistaken, I think DeJounte shoots about 39% on catching threes. So in my opinion, the solution would be to get him off ball more. How do you get him off ball more? You put the ball in Zion's hands more. You got Sadiq Bey operating out of the post at times. You got Derek operating out of the high post at times. You got Jeremiah Fears doing what he does, driving, attacking. Maybe you could kick out to DeJounte for some catch and shoot threes. Now we'll get back to the comments. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. How's my sound sounding? Let me know, y'all. Because again, I'm trying out this new microphone. Y'all let me know how the audio is sounding. Shout out to Navy Chief. He's still in Japan, I believe. So shout out to the bro, man. Hope y'all doing well. Shout out to my dog Bayou Sniper. Make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. Bayou Sniper doing this thing. Shout out to my homie Nando. Make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. Him and Cullen doing their thing. Greg, what's the deal, homeboy? Fist, I know what you laughing at. Look, I don't be trying to go at DeJounte. Shout out to the homie Trey. Uptown Kid says Sam Presti playing chess. He absolutely. See, my only thing with Sam Presti, while I do think what he's been doing is brilliant and the results speak for themselves, I also think at some point you're going to have to consolidate. Now, it's fucked up being in that position, similar to the Pelicans, where it's like, well, damn, realistically speaking, if I was going to package Trey and Herb and picks or whoever, let's just say salary and all my picks to go chase someone, who would that be? Anthony Edwards isn't available. What star caliber player really is available right now on the trade market or will become available? Like for Laurie, it's like, is Laurie worth like 4 firsts at this point? Like, is Trey worth 4 firsts? I mean, I think the pickings are slim. That's why you see a premium being put on certain guys. I'm gonna answer J Dog's last point. We're gonna get to some more of the chats, and then we're gonna move on to Herb Jones. I think he's another person who had a down year, but a couple seasons ago, much like DeJounte, was coming off a really productive year. J Dog say, third one, connected Dennis Schroeder from the Cavs to the Pelicans and the Hornets, and he predicted yesterday that Mario would sign with the Cavs and Sam Merrill would be traded. Now. All right, so I've heard this one as well. All right, this one, Louisiana. I talked to Louisiana Gale. Louisiana Gale put me on to that, right? Louisiana Gale put me on to the Schroeder connection. I think that was obvious because they were looking to trade. I meant them looking to trade Schroeder being obvious, not what she said is obvious because she clearly put me on to it. I don't think the Pelicans have any interest in Schroeder. I wouldn't necessarily understand that acquisition. Sam Merrill, potentially. Sam Merrill and Tyson. Tyson's brother is already in New Orleans, so that would be cool. But yeah, I could see a world with Sam Merrill and Tyson, maybe something surrounding Herb. Because Mario, while we all like Mario, he's been out of the league for years, and more than anything, Cleveland needs defense. Now, that is something I have heard, but I've also heard that the Pelicans haven't really had communications with Cleveland. So it's going by what you believe. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like, no, by no communications, they called us, we ain't called them. Or by no communication, like we didn't talk at all. So it's based on what you believe right now. You know what I'm saying? Because no one's going to show their hand too much. But I have heard those things as well. It's very interesting you mentioned that, because that's a conversation I had with my dog yesterday. Bobby Sniper says, so interested in what Mosley does with the opening day startup. Me as well. I'm very interested. That's something to me, because I'm gonna be doing the live streams again this season. Man, I am excited to see what happens with that. Shout out to Cat. The Cassie said, keep the same team, running back, new coach, even keep Poole. Hey, I'm not mad at that as well. And I think that's why when you look at upside potentially, you know, it's a world where that's the right decision. There's a world where that is the right decision. And we've spoken about that a lot this offseason, to where it's like, if you can just make some marginal upgrades, it could improve you on, like, with the big picture. Like, it could pay dividends, just marginal upgrades. And I don't think people's out here asking for you to go get Karl Anthony Towns necessarily. I think people are just looking for a solid rotational big to add to the bigs you have right now, and some three-point shooting. I don't think people even necessarily looking for creators. Nando say Bobby Portis. I kind of believe that Giannis angled and advocated for Bobby Portis. So I'm not sure that that's something that Miami would do at this juncture. But that's an interesting point. But shout out to the homie Nando, man. Let's see. J-Dog says, so with the Buffkin signing, is the roster set? Well, that's the training camp deal. In my opinion, like, for example, if the rumors are true, because I haven't had this conversation with anyone connected to the front office whatsoever. If the rumors are true that they are indeed looking to move Hawkins just as a salary dump, that would open up an additional roster spot. So if, let's say, Buffkin did inherit that spot, let's say he won out in training camp in preseason and inherited that spot, you still would have one additional roster spot left. And Buffkin, like I mentioned before, he was lighting it up for me in the G League. So if he can keep that catch and shoot prowess, that could pay dividends as well. Whoa, what's happening with your fam? Appreciate all the work, big dog. I appreciate you as well, fam. Salute to you, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Nando say, DeJounte strikes me as the me guy. If he's not getting enough touches and shots, he might be a problem. I mean, look, thank y'all, man. The audio sound good. Appreciate y'all, fam. Yeah, look, bro, like, man, I talked to several people, fam. Like, people just think that there was a lot of miscommunication behind the scenes with, you know, DeJounte with the training and the coaching and the table time. People just think there was a lot of miscommunication. A lot of people in the building didn't know what he was talking about. Like, they was like, that didn't happen that way. Like, that's what I was told. But again, there's three sides to every story: his side, the team side, and the truth. Shout out to Ice Manry. He said, I hope you fake coaches and GMs get y'all wish. Hope they bring me off the bench. I hope they trade me to Memphis, Portland, Cleveland, Miami, and all the rest of them places. Bunch of keyboard warriors that don't have a clue about what we had to deal with. The first ones to run up for a picture. Well, I don't run up for pictures personally. Like, so I don't know who running up for pictures. But shout out to them. I mean, some people like to take pictures with players. I mean, and some people don't really give a fuck. I mean, I don't know. That's not really a New Orleans thing, but I'm sure some people like doing it. I met Eric Gordon one time. Eric Gordon was cool. Anthony Davis was real cool as well. Austin Rivers was very cool. Be Supreme, what's happening with your big dog? Sign Ben Simmons. Man, you know, a couple years ago, I would have agreed. Because Ben Simmons, before them injuries and whatever happened mentally, Ben Simmons was a bad motherfucker, dog. Ben Simmons was that fucking dude. It just mentally, bro, he just It just didn't work. I don't know, son. I don't know what the fuck happened, dog. Ben just gave up. It's crazy. Whoa, shout out to my dog Lito. Hey man, fuck them pictures. Yeah, what the fuck? Hey, come here. What the fuck I look like? Hey, come here. Boy, you don't get the fuck. Man, go ahead. No, I think this is. Come on, we put this on my Snapchat. man, sit down, son. No. I'm cool. Give a fuck about none of that. But shout out to my dog Lito, man. Noel Anthony, hit the like button. Yeah, make sure y'all tap in with that like button, man. Much love to everybody in the building. Now let's talk about the homie Herb Jones. Now Herb had a down year, of course, especially by his standard, because the season prior to Herb having that injury, Herb was coming off an awesome year for him. Herb was one of the reasons that the team really excelled defensively, as well as Dyson Daniels. Y'all know I was used to pop shit about Dyson Daniels, but defensively, Dyson Daniels was a bad motherfucker, especially on ball. Can't knock him there. So Herb Jones' his last good season, right? The way he really was putting down, his fucking Mac doing this thing. Hell of a season. 49% from the field, 11 points on 7 shot attempts, 41% on over 3.5 shot attempts. Didn't really get to the free throw line. That's not really his game. The biggest strike for him has always been defensive rebounding or just total rebounding generally, for the most part. He averaged a little over 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 steals, which is good, 0.8 blocks, which is good, only 1 turnover, little under 3 fouls a game, 11 points, finished 5th in defensive player of the year. All defense first team. Now, this was shit start getting real at. So, as Herb has continued to age, of course, the shoulder injury was a freak injury. He was hustling, diving on the floor, I believe. Shoulder got caught up. I think it was versus Golden State. So the Pelican season just started off injury fucking riddle. So it was nothing. That was, of course, to no fault of his own. Bro was just hustling. Then the shit just didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? He got injured. So we go to the next season, only played in 20 games. He tried to come back, didn't really work out. I don't know how true it is, but I was told that, the team at that time tried to convince him to take a cortisone shot. And from what I was told, I don't know how true this is, the team was trying to convince him to take a cortisone shot for the season. He was like, man, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. Like there was just no trust with that medical staff, and guys just didn't want to risk it. You know what I'm saying? No risk it, no biscuit. So he only ended up playing 20 games. Now, the following year, this past year, he was extended. This past offseason, he was extended. Y'all know how I feel about that. I've made that clear. I really thought we should have traded Herb last offseason prior to the extension. But he got the extension, so congratulations to him, right? Made that pretty clear that I thought that was a bad decision. I don't think in the open market Herb would have got $20 million. It's about if I'm not mistaken, it's a 3-year extension. I think it goes up as far as 26 million, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's the final year as a player option, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 4 years. So played in 56 games, incredibly inefficient. Jesus Christ. 8 points on 8 attempts, 38% from the field, 30% from beyond the arc, 47% from the 2. I would have to look into this, but I believe Herb was one of the most blocked players last season at the rim. Like, if you watch the games, boy, I barely survived watching Herb playing basketball last year. I barely fucking made it. Dog. I swear. If y'all was watching the live streams with me, I barely made it. It's insane. Shout out to the homie Shelby in the building. Much love, Shelby. Say been a minute since I called you live, but been keeping up. I appreciate your support, fam. Shout out to Shelby, man. Shelby had to take a break. I know a lot of people be taking breaks, man, because this shit, it can get stressful. Nat said, I think the Pels will be one of the top 10 in the West in the Western Conference. Yes, I agree. I think they're in prime position to at least be a playing team, especially with the Warriors' inability to improve at the moment. You know what I'm saying? They're not able to add talent right now. I don't really understand the report that came out today with Steph being tired of the star chasing. I guess he's like, nah, just build depth or build through the draft. I'm like, well, Steph, they tried to build through the draft. That's why they got Pods, Moses Moody, what's homie name? Wiseman. Like, they've tried. Jordan Poole, they've tried. Like, you know what I'm saying? Losing Poole was a devastating blow to them. especially for like team camaraderie and chemistry, because you pretty much, I don't think they were a dynasty, but you lost a guy that was like perfect for the system that you were playing. Now, again, when we talk about Herb, how I like to view things is where's the anomaly and where's the norm, right? And is, there a possibility that that needle could be threaded and it's somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like things could be somewhere in the middle. Now, looking at Herb's field goal percentage, Herb has always been a relatively efficient guy, like 47%, 46%. He's a low volume guy. What really always brought his field goal percentage down was the threes, right? 33%. The 41% is the anomaly. That's why he finished nearly 50% in field goal percentage right here. Then you see 30% back to back. Now, the anomaly, if we're looking at this, is the 41%. The 41% is the anomaly. And now, unfortunately, the defense has fallen to a point where it's like they don't really offset one another for it to be, palatable moving forward, especially not with him in the starting lineup. I think, truthfully, that would be forcing the issue. Herb in the starting lineup, in my opinion, would be forcing the issue because, like I just said, the players, we can't accept the my bads this season. Like, you don't really have the bandwidth or the runway for the my bads this season, right? Don't look. Shout out to no. He said, "Yeah, you be blowing out my earbuds like a motherfucker last season." I'm about to send Herb an invoice, dog, bro. Herb, oh my god, and it's always a close game. I forgot who we was playing. I was mid fucking sentence. Herb drives the ball, does a behind the back dribble, turns the ball over. Motherfuckers go down the other end and record the score. Oh my god, I was sick. I was sick as a fucking dog. I couldn't believe it. They Herb was on some YOLO Tasmanian devil shit last year. Yeah, Birmingham Herb was there the whole season. Like, Herb was literally bringing the ball up the court. Now, some of that had to do with DeJounte being out of the lineup. I'm like, we can't better utilize this. Like, there's no other way we could do this. Shaq Billis said, I don't blame him for not trusting the last medical staff. They were doing medical malpractice for at least 10 seasons. Facts, bro. Like, I wouldn't trust the motherfuckers neither. Trey say Herb would shoot like 2 for 9 from 3 last season. A game that straight bricks. This straight breaks, bro. Just not even hitting the rim off the other side of the motherfucking glass. It was bad. It was terrible. And frankly, I've seen enough. I think second unit is where Herb would be better suited at this juncture. But the downside to that is you just extended them. Like, and this is what I mean by worst case scenario, right? The worst case scenario for DeJounte Murray would be his play continues to trend the way it's trending. Then come the deadline, he's still immovable. If he's still immovable at the deadline, that means going into the offseason, he's going to opt into that $30 million. He's going to take that money. I would take it, so I couldn't blame him. He's going to take that money, right? Situation with Herb. If Herb continues to trend the way he's trending, and I spoke about this ad nauseum when I used to talk to bitch ass Grub on the other show. I'm like, bro, with role players, you absolutely have to sell high because if you look at what happened with Dorian Finney-Smith, you look at what happened with Royce O'Neal, those guys' value continually trended downward. Like, at one point, they were asking for 2 firsts for Royce O'Neal. They ended up getting like 3 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they ended up getting something, not Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith. They ended up getting like some seconds for Dorian Finney-Smith. This is when he was traded from the Nets. For Royce O'Neal, I think they ended up getting seconds as well. So you got a couple guys that had a first-round pick asking price initially. One guy had multiple first-round pick asking price, and it ended up trending downward. And ultimately, there was nowhere for them to go with that. They just had to take the deal. And now we're in an era where second-round picks are more valuable. But are we really? Are we really in that era where second-round picks become more valuable? Because this is why I asked that question. Because to my understanding with the lottery rules, it'll be inversed. So if you were picking first in the first round, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be picking last in the second round. So that, I guess that would make the second round picks only valuable coming from a contender. If I'm not mistaken, someone please correct me if I'm mistaken. I know Squallow being here sometimes. Squallow be fact checking. Squallow, please, if you in here, bro, let me know if I'm mistaken. Or anyone, let me know if I'm mistaken. Fist of Black said that low IQ shit would give me a stroke. Boy, it was rough. It was rough. Man, shout out to my dog L Pels in the blender in the building. Shout out to the homie, man. Make sure y'all go tap in with his show and subscribe to his show. Now, another person, shout out to everybody. Make sure y'all hit that like button too. Sam Kim say, I don't think you should expect Herb to shoot 6+ threes a game. It's a lack of shooting that's forcing him to chuck these shots up. But here's the thing, Sam Kim. If Herb isn't shooting, right? Like let's say because initially you had CJ, you had Trey, you had Jose who shot well from the honor. Brandon didn't shoot a lot of threes that year because I mean that's the last time that roster was together. So with Herb, it's like the points have to come from nowhere. If Herb is going to be a total non-threat on offense, even from beyond the arc, you just can't have him out there. Like he don't got to shoot like 9 of them bitches, but he got to shoot at least 4 to 5 consistently at a decent clip, because otherwise you really just can't have him out there because he doesn't help you with rebounding. He helps you some with perimeter defense, but you can get a guy off the street to help you with perimeter defense. Once you get extended, once that contract extension happens, now it's on you. Like that's just my perspective, and that goes for everyone, right? Now it's on you once you get that big money. Yeah, so to me, the worst case scenario with Herb is that as you go into the season, his contract just continues to trend in a negative direction, because I think he's already a neutral asset at best. I don't think he's a positive valued asset right now. Hence why you're not really seeing, at least not that I've heard, is why you haven't really seen any great offers come in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you see some cool offers, maybe a contender is offering you a first or something like that, or a first and a swap, maybe at the most. But I, again, like I played with that video earlier with the chick, you can't be the bad bitch, but you got 9 kids. You acting like a bad bitch with 9 kids. It's like, you know, you got sometimes you got to take a cool working man. Like if you that type of lady, you got to take a cool working man, blue collar motherfucker. So if you the Pelicans, you know, and they come and like, look, I got 3 seconds for you. I ain't got no first, but I got 3 seconds for you. I take that contract off your hands. I got 3 seconds in salary. What you trying to do? And you like, I'm cool. It's like, all right. The more that money ticks up, tick, 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 the older he gets, tick, 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 the lower that value is going to go. And that's the worst case scenario, in my opinion. Now you're going into the offseason with no financial flexibility, really. I mean, you're going to have some tax room. But say you, hypothetically speaking, if we look at the Pelicans cap situation right here, I have this queued up. Give me 1 second. I don't know why they're showing the fucking Denver Nuggets. Let me see. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's look at this. All right. So this is 26-27. This is this year. Now, if we go to 27-28, right? Let's have it updated. Okay. The Pelicans have 11 players on the roster. Of course, if they're looking to extend Saddiq Bey, that's 12, right? So that would leave you with 3 roster spots roughly, right? Now, in the ideal world, DeJounte's $30 million is gone. But let's say he's here. So you have 3 roster spots if Saddiq Bey is still here, and you still have the same problems. Like, even if Eve takes a step, which I anticipate he will, you still need another rotational big, because if Eve twists his ankle and got to miss several weeks, you're going to have a problem. So hypothetically speaking, let's just add Saddiq Bey at roughly $18 million. And we'll speak about Saddiq Bey next. Let's add him at roughly $18 million. Let's subtract that roughly $18 million from your luxury tax room here. So that's about 27. I'm using drug dealer eyeball math. So that's about roughly 27 million, if I'm not mistaken, in luxury tax room. That's not bad. Now, so that would give you, you know, a couple bucks to spend in free agency, maybe, but it's still not a ton of money. Whereas if you move off of Herb's contract now, and you know, hopefully move off the DeJounte's contract as well, that's 50 million fucking clams. That's 50 million motherfucking clams. Even if I add in Saddiq Bey's contract, that'll still be 32 motherfucking clams, cuz that's an additional 32 million motherfucking clams. That's a lot of money. I could do a lot with that. It's a lot of money. You understand me? Shout out to Botron. He always trying to trade for Zion. Shout out to the homie Botron here. He a Blazers fan. Yo, if you're in the building, make sure y'all hit that motherfucking like button. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. And shout out to my bro. Shout out to the bro Zeke, man. He donated a membership. I appreciate you, big dog. Shout out to you, fam. Shout out to you, bro. We just uploaded an episode the other day. And matter of fact, I got one I'm uploading probably tonight as well. Shaden Sharp and Scoot Henderson plus 2 first-round picks for Zion and Jordan Hawkins. I don't think that money works. Bo, please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong also, bro. I don't think that money works, but I'm just not a fan of Shaden Sharp at this stage. I mean, I like Shaden Sharp, but to me, he's just another inefficient guy. Like, just really inefficient. Like, I don't know. Miles said, what would with that trade, y'all would gain 13 million cap space maybe for Jalen Duren. Now, I've had some talks with some people about Jalen Duren, and I don't know that the Pelicans would have interest in Jalen Duren. Just being honest, I think BT. All right, I'm gonna call you BT. Shout out to Bo. I mean, shout out to BT. My bad, I'm tripping. Yeah, BT. I don't think they would have interest in Duren just based on some conversations I've been privy to. Duren got a lot of shit going on with him. I ain't gonna lie. He got a lot of shit going on with him behind the scenes, y'all. J Dog said, I thought we had cap space next year. Well, oh, Bow. Okay, Bow, my bad. Appreciate you. So we got luxury tax space. Now, what that luxury tax space allows you to do, J Dog, you can do trades and bring back additional salary. Like, for example, if you, let's say Herb making 20 million and you do a trade and you bring back 23 million, 24 million, right? Let's say you do that. You're not under the threat of the luxury tax like you would have been in prior years. Now, that's just where it is at today, right? That's just where it's at today. Things could get better. And you got to take into account Sadiq Bey's contract isn't accounted for. You got some unlikely incentives. Now, what would be very interesting, and I doubt that this would happen. Like, I highly doubt something like this would happen. What would be very interesting is that, Zion ain't got a contract extension yet. So wouldn't it be crazy if Zion was like, or the team was like, look, would you mind taking a little bit of a haircut on that final year of your deal for that 44 million? Would you mind taking 39 million? and we'll have even more cap space and we could build a better team. And would you mind? I don't think that's gonna happen, but I'm saying it's a possibility if he doesn't get that extension at this point. Let's say he goes out and balls out of control and you still got that option. I think that would, but I also think that would guarantee the money for that year. So I would have to look at the mechanics behind that, because I think that would just if he goes out and balls out, I think that probably would just automatically guarantee that year. GSP, appreciate you, dog. I appreciate you, my boy. Yeah, shout out to the homie Chris, man. He working well with Zion, putting some incredible footage out, man. Y'all keep supporting that, bro, and make sure y'all go follow him. Say I wouldn't want Duren if Zion not here. Yeah, and to me, I like Duren, but I think defensively, he's not very good, in my opinion. Uptown Kid say, shouldn't the Pelicans, a small market team, be trying to trade for guys instead of clearing cap space or overpaying for free agents? Uptown Kid, see, that's a good point. With this, I'm not talking about free agency. Right? What I'm saying is, for example, if you look at what the Brooklyn Nets did with Julius Randle, right? With Julius Randle, you can take back contracts via trade and accumulate assets potentially. Or like, look at what Minnesota did. Now, Minnesota was able to move Julius Randle to the Brooklyn Nets, and then they doubled back and acquired LaMelo without really sending much of anything out. You know what I'm saying? Because they had so much space to accumulate a guy like that just by moving Julius Randle. The Bulls pretty much got Nick Claxton for free in that deal. So there's things you could do, like what Memphis was able to do with Beef Stew, with Isaiah Stewart. Like, they had so much tax space, they were able to just take those guys back into the salary without tax penalty implications. So there's things like that you could do. The Pelicans will never be a player in free agency, but they could be a player in taking on contracts for like players that just don't want to be where they are anymore. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Pels in the Blender. He said, would you trust them with space to use it properly if you give them a discount? Oh, you talking about Zion, I'm presuming. I'm talking about Zion, I'm presuming. Well, if him and Joe are in lockstep and they have the same plan, I would imagine you would have to, right? Bo, you say Bo say that allows DQ to be the 4. I guess he's saying with Duran. Yeah, I hope it works out, but I kind of just see Derek as a 6 man, honestly. I hope it works out to where he could be a full-time starter. But you would have to ask yourself, do you think Derek's trajectory at this point would place him better than Naz Reid? And let's say you don't think so. Let's say you think he's about Naz Reid or he's a lesser version of Sengun, right? Is that a starter? And that becomes the question. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no problem, Uptown Kid. No problem. I totally understand what you were saying, bro. No problem at all. So let's look at the homie Saddiq Bey. Right now, to me, this is a very big question because Saddiq Bey had an incredible leap this year. But, you know, when you look at Saddiq Bey's numbers, the consistency has kind of been there as far as how he plays. Like, he's a volume guy. So last year, of course, he was out with the ACL that he unfortunately got injured versus the Pelicans. Because make no mistake about it, the way Saddiq Bey was playing like for Atlanta before he got hurt, he probably would have got paid. Like he probably would have got paid. He was playing really solid. He would have got more than $6 million. He might have got the full MLE. So if you look at Saddiq Bey last year, 72 games, started 64 of them. Look, I'm telling you, bro, it's one thing about a starting position, and the same thing with money. You know, it's easier not to give someone something than it is to take it away. So if I'm Saddiq Bey, who the fuck should be starting over me? Nigga, I went out there and balled. 17, 2 and 5, less than 1 turnover a game. And they went out there and fucking balled. He balled out. He did his thing. Saddiq Bey did his fucking thing, right? So started 64 games. Coming off of injury, a devastating injury at that, didn't play at all last season, nursing that injury. Shot 36% from beyond the arc on 5 attempts. That's pretty consistent because he's a career 35% shooter. Had a couple years where he shot over 40%. But consistent, you know, he's a mid-30s guy on average, right? So let's see, pretty efficient. Got to the line about 3 times, did a lot of work in the post, drawing defenders. That's about his career average. He averages 4 free throws. I'm sorry, he averages 3 free throws a game for his career. So that's about average. Total rebounds, 5. That's pretty on par. Like, to me, truthfully, if you got Yves Missi at center, and Saddiq can continue to give you about 5-6 rebounds, Zion steps it up, gets you about 7 to 8 rebounds a game, you can help cure your defensive rebound. If Eve locks in on the defensive boards, Zion locks in on the defensive boards, Trey locks in on the defensive boards, because make no mistake about it, at one time Trey was the leading rebounder on the team. That don't mean he's capable of consistently doing that, but that has to be a point of emphasis for him moving forward. Jess, what up with you, my dog? Shout out to homie Jess, always in here supporting. Much love to Jess. Now, I'll say this. And make sure y'all hit that like button, man. We got 66 people in the building. Let's get it up to at least 50 likes. Make sure y'all tap that like button for a brother. Now, let's say this. The worst case scenario for Saddiq Bey is you extend him at the max, in my opinion. If you give Saddiq Bey a max extension and he takes even a minor step back, let's say he regresses to, where I want to say, let's say he regresses to 22, 23, right? Regresses to 22, 23. No, let's say 22, 23. So field goal percentage takes a dip. 3-point percentage, you know, takes a bit of a dip. Goes from 36% to 35% on those same 5 attempts. And everything else stays relatively the same, right? But the numbers overall take a bit of a dip. Let's say he regresses from 17 to 14. Now, you have to assume that with DeJounte being healthy, with Zion potentially having higher usage, Saddiq is probably going to be closer to about 11 shots, right? So let's offset the quote-unquote taking a step back, because he's going to probably shoot the ball less. He's probably going to be taking about 11 to 12 shots a game, especially if he's taking more threes, because I imagine Sadiq is probably going to be taking closer to 6 or 7 threes this season in catch and shoot situations. That's where he took the lion's share of his 3-point shots last season. So if you extend him for the max and he takes a bit of a step back, you could find yourself in a tough situation, because it's like, all right, now you locked up, like you locked under contract moving forward. That $6 million is about to balloon to close to $20 million, and you ain't really as good as I thought you were going to be, even if it's a mulligan. It's like, fuck, what do I do now long term? It's like Sadiq is a very serviceable second unit player, serviceable spot starter. Dude, just serviceable, defines him, straight up serviceable. But he's not a great defender. Not a great defender. His game is a little, he stops the ball a bit, likes to hold the ball and survey. But from a catch and shoot perspective, he can help you out. You could always use a guy like that. So the thing is, and I know some people are advocating for trading him now for $6 million. My thing is, I don't think you would even get a first for Sadiq Bey right now. I think you're talking about multiple seconds, right? Maybe 2 seconds. Maybe, right? Maybe, I mean, so if someone loves him at the deadline, you might be able to squeeze a protected first from a contender. But it's like he's worth more to you at this stage under that contract than he would be to someone else, because it's like, what would my return really net? You feel me? So, dude, I think the worst case scenario for him is that he's extended, then he just don't live up to the contract number, especially if he gets the max, because that'll be tough. But nah, he's not known for defense. He's not known for defense. He's known mainly for offense. He's not awful defensively, but he's just like, he's middle of the road defensively. Like, he probably leans closer towards being a bad defender than a good defender, but he's middle of the road. Just to give Bey that money. Hey, Sadiq balled out. Sadiq balled the fuck out. J-Dog said, why haven't we heard anything about Bey Ascension? All that no leak stuff is driving me crazy. I need some news. Well, if you look at it, that's not uncommon for right now, because if you look at it, really, the only people that really got extended, I think it was just Wemby. I think just Wemby for the most part, right? Wemby, and they brought back Andrew Wiggins on the extension after he opted out, if I'm not mistaken, for Miami. But Dylan Brooks still got to get extended. Zion got to get extended. There's a lot of people that's still up for extensions. So I'm sure they're going to be navigating and, you know, playing the you go high, I go low game, pause. You know what I'm saying? Uptown Kid says Sadiq sounds like the guy Joe is always talking about, the type of guys he wants. And that's why I think they do deserve more praise for acquiring him, because clearly they targeted him. Like, I don't understand the throw-in perspective. When Troy Weaver drafted him, Troy Weaver probably the reason that he signed to Washington, and Troy Weaver traded for him. Like, the pattern is that they like Sadiq Bey. So it ain't like, just give me I don't know. I'm trying to think of a random ass name. Just throw the D'Angelo Russell in this deal, and D'Angelo Russell balls out. It's like, no, they targeted Sadiq Bey. Said Mitch got his extension. Mitchell Robinson. Like, then what other Mitch they got? Because Mitch was a free agent, right, when he signed with Boston, if I'm not mistaken. That's what you're talking about, Mitchell Robinson. I'm trying to think what other Mitch they got. Just real say rather get Claxton or stay the same. Now Claxton, Donovan Mitchell. I never heard him call Mitch before. Donovan Mitchell. He's another guy who got extended. So Donovan Mitchell, Wemby, man, that's all I can really think of. Lou Dort. I mean, they've talked about it, right? So maybe him as well. Shaq Zilla said, I think if Z and Trey Bo average 8 to 9 rebounds, I think that would help the defense just by ending the opponent's possession. That would help with the second, third, fourth and fifth chance points. Yo, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, Shaq Zilla. If Zion can get closer to that 8 rebound mark, which he's totally capable of doing, he's got to attack the rebound and be more aggressive and stop being so fucking accommodating on the boards. But if he can attack that rebound, same thing with Trey, I think that would help tremendously. Hartenstein, yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, did Hartenstein opt out and get re-signed for an extension, or did they just straight up extend him, H. Bizzle? I gotta look into that again. Cause I know that happened like closer to the beginning of free agency. I know Kenny Hustle, I think they declined Kenny Hustle team option in OKC and brought him back as well, I think, for maybe they probably took a little bit off the top for his extension as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Now, another person, of course, is the person who I'm a fan of, bro, and that's Eve Meesey, dog. I think Eve Meesey gonna shock the world. I really do think Eve Meesey gonna shock the world, but I think Eve Meesey gonna ball out. Now, to me, the worst case scenario for him is potentially putting too much on his plate too early, right? Like Eve, what if third year Eve isn't the year? Like, what if it's year 4? You feel me? What if it's year 4? That's a very real possibility. Like, that is not year 3. Now, we see him putting in work doing this thing. I also seen him putting in work with the guard whisperer last season. I don't know if he's still working with him. Now, the big knock for Eve this year was the minutes. Like, he didn't really get the minutes he got last year. But even then, Eve is more of a stronger offensive rebounder versus defensive. So if you look at his rookie season, 73 games, started 67. That's a hell of an accomplishment. Played close to the 27 minutes a game. Only took 6 shots, averaged 9 points. Most of that's going to be dunks, maybe a little hook shot, lobs, etc. Putbacks, Got to the free throw line 2 times at 62%. Got a nice free throw shooting stroke. So I think they could improve a little bit. Maybe get that closer to 65, 66% would be an improvement in my opinion. Now, here's where the controversy comes in. 3.5 offensive rebounds, 4.7 defensive rebounds for a total rebound rate or a total rebound average of 8.2, right? It's not bad, though. That's really excellent for a rookie big. Now, he played 26 minutes. So as a big, that's why I don't know how to feel about Derek's rebounding, because it's kind of like, well, as a big, the more minutes you play, especially if you're playing under the rim, you're just going to rebound the ball. Like it's just going to happen. So it's something to look at. So Eve averaged 8.2 rebounds, 1 assist, half a steal, over 1 block a game, which is impressive. Only 1 turnover and only 2 fouls. So he doesn't really foul a lot. 9 points on 6 shots. Now that's his rookie year under Willie Green. Now this year he was in the doghouse with Willie Green. He was in the doghouse with Willie Green. Somebody snitched on him. They put a screenshot of him liking a post criticizing Willie Green, and he ended up in the doghouse. You know what I'm saying? That it's fucked up. But that's what happened. So shout out to my home Louisiana gal in the building. What's the deal? Shout out to the home Louisiana gal. So, and we was talking about you earlier, Louisiana gal. So you got Eve Meesey this year, 66 games, started 14. I think the numbers really do suggest that the team was better when Eve Meesey was on the floor this season, because he's a real center. Even with his shortcomings, he's only been playing basketball roughly 7 to 8 years now. Late bloomer, but I think the trajectory is there because the eye test, in my opinion, has shown that he's gotten better from last year to this year. The eye test has shown he's gotten better. Worked on that Euro as well, which I think is pretty nice when he's attacking the rim. Now, of course, that's not something he's going to be asked to do a lot. Probably going to be more so asked to, battle on the defensive boards and maybe have a nice little hook shot, nice little floater. But that Euro is nice when he uses it every once in a while. So this year, only took 4 field goal attempts. Of course, it's going to be dunks and shit, et cetera, et cetera. So we can skip past that part. Again, the most important part is going to be the rebounding. Now, this year, only 5.8 rebounds. I think that's the testament of the minutes more than anything else, truthfully, y'all. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not shooting Eve no bell. He plays, 7 less minutes. 7 less minutes, and he averaged about a little over 2 less rebounds. It's minutes, basically. It's minutes. But about the same averages were there when you consider how close the offensive rebounding is to the defensive rebound. It's like you average 2 offensive rebounds, you average 3 defensive rebounds for a total of 5.8. But everything else stayed roughly the same. He still wasn't foul happy. His shot blocking improved. His assist numbers were about the same. To me, the only worst case scenario for him is that you start Derek over him. I think that's a recipe for disaster. Starting Derek over Eve, in my opinion, would be a recipe for disaster. Just in my opinion, right? Or B, maybe he's not ready to take the leap just yet. But I only really see Eve playing about 25 minutes, maybe close to his rookie numbers. He's probably only going to play about 26, 27 minutes at the 5. And then you're going to have if you bring in another big, you'll have that person at the 5 as well. You just can't die on the backup minutes. Let's say Eve plays the starting center to a draw on the boards, right? Unless it's like Jokic. I'm not talking about those type of players. I'm talking about like just a regular motherfucker. Let's say Mark Williams. Let's say he plays Mark Williams to a draw at the 5. Your second unit 5 has to be able to come in. You got to have gang rebounding from the Zion, from Trey, from Herb. You're going to have to accommodate for what is perceived as Eve Meese's shortcomings at this point. Now, if Eve can handle 30 minutes, cool. But if he's forced to play 30 minutes because he's the only option and the best option, but not necessarily a good option, let me say that again. If he's the only option and the best option, but not necessarily a good option, then that's a failure for roster construction. And you should have addressed that. Like, you should have brought in another guy, like maybe Nick Richards, who averages about 5 rebounds a game, who can also spell Eve to some degree. Oh, nah, we weren't talking about nothing. We was talking about some things with the Cavs potentially. We was talking about Spencer Jones. J-Dog had mentioned a couple things, and we were just talking about that. And I was like, yeah, I talked about that with my dog, Louisiana Gal, as well. Like, we heard some of the same things as it pertains to some of the things that was in the chat yesterday. You know, and J-Dog was kind of saying he heard some of the same things, or saw that written somewhere as well. H Bizzle, what's happening? He said, Eve ended up having to guard a shooter a lot with the switch. Everything defensive rebounding should go up this year. Yo, I wish I had this prime, dog, and I could have just posted it. Eve Meese got switched on to Anthony Edwards at the end of the game twice. Eve Meese held his motherfucking own, and Ant missed on both possessions, if I'm not mistaken. I know he missed on both of them, or they just didn't score. I'm not sure if it was a turnover or what have you, but Eve held his motherfucking own on that island with Anthony Edwards, dog. If anybody remember that, let me know. I think that's the game where the Pelicans came from behind and beat Minnesota. But Eve held his motherfucking own, dog. Eve is not a total liability on the perimeter. Like, I don't understand. I won't say I don't understand, because I saw this as well. Eve's rookie year, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. But I don't really understand. Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of think Eve would be fine starting. I think he'd do a cool job personally. Oh, now L, this is a great question. This is an excellent question, right? He said, what you think happens if the team gets hit with an unlucky injury bug? Can they survive it? Now, this is something I posted, right? This is something I posted on Twitter today. I think the Pelicans' perceived second unit is cool. I think on paper, I think the second unit is cool. The starting unit is where I think the problem lies, right? Because, like, for example, if DeJounte goes out again, I think you can survive with Fears starting. It's all about who gets hurt, right? If Zion goes out, and let's say hypothetically, if Zion goes out, you're probably in trouble. Depends on how long he's out. But let's say the sum of your parts can keep things afloat. Because I think the way this roster is built, it has some scoring depth to where you should be cool. Like, if Zion goes out and you just dead in the water from a scoring perspective, then that probably means that, you know, Trey and Sadiq, they just didn't take that step like you needed them to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably what that signals. Donnell Ramon say should have signed Isaac. Oh, Isaac, he was always going back to Orlando, it seems, because he signed right back with Orlando. Like, he didn't really wasn't even on the market for long. I think it's all about who goes out. I think the one injury that you can't have right now is Trey. Like, if Trey goes out, you're in trouble. If Eve goes out, you're in trouble, because you don't have another big man, really. Call a little Queen, DeAndre Jordan, break glass in case of emergency. But Trey, one of your only shooters. Eve Meese, one of your only rim protectors, averaging over 1 block a game. Like, 2 blocks a game is super fucking elite. So him averaging like 1.5, that's pretty damn good, right? That's the 2 injuries you just can't survive, in my opinion. I think you got a better chance at surviving Zion missing a few games versus, because, like, if you got Fizz, Sadiq, you could be like, all right, well, I still could generate rim pressure. I still can get my shots at the rim and, you know, create some opportunities for my 3-point shooters. But if Trey goes out, it's like, who am I even creating opportunities for? Nobody can shoot really. That's why you almost need a guy like Kobe Buffkin to come in and be like a saving, you know, grace and just come out there and just light the motherfucker up from behind the arc. Yo, we got 64 people in the building. We sitting at 47 likes. Let's get the likes up to 60. Shout out to everybody. Take a moment, hit that like button. We appreciate all y'all. Pals in the business said, how long would that have to be an issue? How long would they have to be out for it to be an issue? Trey and Eve? Shit, I think if they miss about, I think you can survive if Eve miss about 5 games. Now you should be able to survive that. If Trey miss about 5-10 games, then you that margin for error could be too much for you to over. Well, your lack of a margin for error right now, that could be too much for you to overcome. That's why you got to bring in some shooting, or you got to hope Kobe Buffkin can give you, if he plays, can get you about 3 threes a game. Got to hope Herb can shoot at a better clip. Sadiq can shoot at a better clip. Fears can continue to trend up with maybe DQ add a couple, like, because it's gonna become a math game at the end of the day. Once Trey leaves, like, because Trey, for people, I know a lot of people don't like him. I know a lot of people do like him, but he's an elite shooter, and you have to you have to account for him. Now, one person that we're gonna talk about next, and we'll end with this person, is Jordan Poole, right? Because Jordan Poole, to me, is the ultimate X factor for the Pelicans this season, bro. Ultimate fucking X factor for the Pelicans this season. Me and Alvin talked about this. Gary Trent, he got signed back with Milwaukee. He got a great deal too. I ain't gonna lie, boy. I wish I had his motherfucking agent. I wish I had his agent, boy. Gary Trent balled the fuck out. Yo, let me know if y'all want me to drop the link also, so maybe one of y'all could call in and holler, or anybody. It don't have to be just one. Just let me know if y'all want me to drop the guest link. So looking at JP, looking at the homie JP, right? So JP this season, it was a disastrous season. It was the worst season of his career for a number of reasons. And like I told you earlier, I look at the trend and I see what the anomaly is. You got to look at the trend and see what's been consistent and what's the anomaly. This year is a total fucking anomaly by every metric, right? So I'm going to go back to the last season in Washington. First year in Washington, he struggled mightily. New situation, adjusting, being on the tanking team. We already know what was happening with the media at that time. I'm sure that added some stress on his mental health. But going into this upcoming season, he shouldn't have those problems anymore. I'm not sure if he's still working with the trainer he was with before, but we have seen him putting in some work. He was at Summer League, and it's a contract year for him, so he got to ball out. He's fighting for his NBA life at this point because he can absolutely end up being Cam Thomas. And right now, Cam Thomas, there's not even any rumors about him heading anywhere, which is rather unfortunate. I would like to see him get a camp invite as well. But yeah, so Jordan Poole, last season in Washington, 68 games, started 68, only played 29 minutes because, I mean, it was tanking, right? 20 points on 15 shots. 37% from beyond the arc on 9 3 attempts. Now, that is the anomaly. He averages about 7 3 attempts a game now, but you're going to need him to average close to 9 this upcoming season. You need that final year of Washington, Jordan Poole. So overall, 43% from the field, not very efficient. Let me see here. Gets to the free throw line, got to the free throw line about 4 times at 88%. At one time, I think he was shooting like 90-something% last season. Then I don't know if it was the jitters or what, but he started missing them bitches. Only averages about 2 rebounds, so you're not really gonna help you there. It would be nice if he can get to about 4. I think CJ was at about 3. It would be nice if he can get to about 4. 3 assists, and you know what's funny, and this could be because he didn't play a lot last season. Well, I'm mixing up the fucking numbers. So he averaged about only 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers. That's a lot of motherfucking turnovers, and 3 fouls. That's a lot. Now, last season with the Pelicans, being his first season, Jordan Poole, I've told this story at this point. I don't think people will mind if I share it publicly. Jordan Poole allegedly gave Willie Green a piece of his mind after game 2 which led to a conflict going into game 3 and his ultimate benching for game 4. And that just lasted throughout the season for the most part. And if look, game 4 was versus the Clippers, if I'm not mistaken. It was either versus the Clippers or Denver. I think it was versus Denver. It was versus Denver. And game 5 was versus the Clippers, if I'm not mistaken. And he lit that bitch up versus the Clippers. The Pelicans should have won that game. Kawhi traveled, hit a midi to win the game. Everyone was upset. So, well, almost everyone. So 39 games last season, 8 starts. He came into the season injured. You know, that wasn't really reported, but after having some conversations with people, when Poole was out with the injury during the season and talking to a couple of people, he came into the season with that injury. So he was injured that offseason going into the season. That's what I was told. I don't know how true it is. Right? 33% from behind the arc on 7 attempts. Not very good. Free throw, got to the cup about 2 times. Well, got to the free throw line about 2 times, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Just overall abysmal season. Overall abysmal season. To me, the worst case scenario with Poole is that he just don't improve. He just don't improve whatsoever, right? Because I don't think, I mean, I don't think his value will improve much at the deadline more than it is now. I think he's a neutral asset right now, $34 million expiring. I don't really see it as a negative asset. I think today, if you wanted to trade Poole for Sabonis, trade Poole and salary for Sabonis, I think you could. I don't know if they have any interest in Sabonis. Maybe you can't do it, but like I think for teams that need to clear their books, that type of expiring money would do wonders for a lot of teams. I think, for example, like I have to check the math on this. Let's say, I think if you called, let's say Chicago, and you was like, yeah, can you give me Patrick Williams and Jalen Smith for Jordan Poole? I think they would probably do it. I think they would probably do that to just to be real. You know what I'm saying? Say new coaches are blessing. Willie was a dud. Willie and Borrego was a dud. And just in my opinion, I think Willie and Borrego were duds. I think some of them dudes was promised something that ultimately wasn't delivered when it happened. And, you know, that's the way shit goes sometimes, man. You know, it's fucked up, but that's how it be sometimes. Shaq Zilla said, what you think about, he said, hell no to Patrick Williams. Yeah, Patrick Williams' contract is crazy. Shaq Zilla said, what you think about DQ taking more threes this season? Toward the end of the season, he started shooting them. If he averaged 36%, what would that do to lineups? Would you be more comfortable with him starting? Man, that's a good question. That's a good question. I still wouldn't be comfortable with him starting. I just think he's too much of a liability on switches. Like it's just too much of a liability. And I don't know that he wants to exclusively play that way, because I think the most ideal fifth man, right, would be a low usage guy. And I don't think Derek would be a low usage player. That's just not the type of player he is. Like, for his style, stylistically, that just wouldn't fit him, right? Because if, let's say, he is starting and he's best with the ball in his hands, he just best with the ball in his hands. So if he is starting and he's best with the ball in his hands, it's like, okay, we need to change the way you play to a catch and shoot guy more so, because in the event that you continue to be on ball, I'm taking the ball out of Zion's hands. I'm taking the ball out of maybe Fierce's hands. I'm taking the ball out of maybe DeJounte's hands. Now, you can argue if DeJounte and Fierce kind of offset one another, but I'm taking the ball out of those guys' hands to accommodate how you best play. So I just don't know, bro. It would be tough. I would have to see how Derek plays this season moving forward to really evaluate that, because maybe in the minutes he gets, maybe he outplays whoever the front court starter is. If he's not starting, maybe he outplays Eve. Maybe Eve outplays him. Maybe Carlo outplays everybody as far as those three. So we definitely gonna have to see, man. But yo, we are our win. I wanted to keep this one a little short. I got some food to cook. Much love to all y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hype the video up. Drew, what's the deal? What's good, fam? I'm just cooling, bro. I'm just cooling. Appreciate your support, man. Shout out to everybody that support. I'm glad y'all had a good weekend. Hopefully we get some positive news this upcoming season. But I think, to summarize everything, the ultimate Worst case scenario for me, nightmare scenario for me, is that this gamble doesn't pay off, right? And I think we all understand that. But not only that the gamble doesn't pay off, let's say you go into the season and Herb becomes truly a negative asset. He becomes truly a negative asset. Whereas, so if you could have got a first now, maybe you're looking at a couple seconds going into the season, right? Or if you could have got a couple seconds now, maybe instead of 3 seconds, you're looking at 2 seconds, 2 bad seconds, right? Or maybe it becomes an immovable contract like a Patrick Williams. Maybe it becomes a Patrick Williams-like contract and you don't want to have to do that. Or a Dorian Finney-Smith contract and you have to pay to get off that contract because that contract is about the balloon and have multiple years left at $20+ million. That would be an absolute worst case scenario. Most hated, what's the deal, fam? Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to the homie most hated in the building. Shout out to you, Set. Appreciate you, Set. You have a good week as well. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, so and for Trey, I think the worst case scenario for Trey is him publicly requesting out, right? Because I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think Trey would mind playing somewhere else. That's as much as I'll say. I think, and in fact, his preference right be. I say right be. His preference might be right now to play somewhere else. And I'm not just saying this, like, you know what I'm saying? I think his preference right now would be to play somewhere else. And it's fair. It's fair because the team been bad. You've been mistreated by the organization. You just started last year. You feel me? Like, I mean, come on. Blueprint said we asking too much for Trey Murphy. Some people feel that way. Now, I'll say this though, Blueprint. Think about this. Now, Michael got what, like 4 firsts or something? 4 or 5 picks. Michael at that time was in a similar tier to Trey, but he was playing better. He was playing way better, right? At that time. But the market dictates the price. There isn't a lot of wings like that do what Trey do available right now. You got Peyton Watson, who's a restricted free agent. They want about 2-3 firsts for him. You got Trey Murphy, who's under a cool contract, averaged 20 points last year. And you might got like Michael Porter Jr. Those are like the 3 wings that are like available right now under cost control deals. Well, Michael Porter Jr. is about to be expired, but those are the 3 wings available right now. That's probably in the range of like Watson's going to be 28 million to 30 range. Trey is in the 25 million to 30 range. Michael Porter Jr. going to want about 40 million. But those are the guys, right? There aren't any superstar caliber players really available right now to where you would say, well, I'll just spend those picks on them. So it's like, you know, right now, people like, you got to give me these picks because where else you going to go with it? And I think that's the mentality everyone has right now. Like, okay, you might not think, like, I'm not saying you, Blueprint. I'm saying, like, if I'm speaking from the standpoint of a front office, like, okay, you might not think he's worth 4 picks, right? Or 3 picks. Let's say 3 to be fair. Okay, cool. You can't get him for 2. You can't get him for 2. You can only get him for 3. Now, if you think you can go find an equal or better player for 1 or 2, you're welcome to go try. But clearly, the Warriors ain't been able to do it yet. Or, you know, some of the teams that are interested haven't been able to do it yet. So that kind of shows that if you had a better, cheaper option, you would have explored it already. But the fact that you haven't had a better, cheaper option, you're going to double back and come talk to me. Hopefully, Trey's playing so well through the year that someone looks to blow you away with a deal. But I don't even anticipate that. I think if Trey's playing well during the year and the team's doing well, they just won't trade him unless, again, he absolutely requests out, which I'm not saying that he won't. I'm not saying that he won't, but we'll see. Shout out to Set, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to the 20 Jews party hat. Thank you. I don't really know what it is, but shout out to you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support, fam. Squallow, what's the deal? He say for trade, the money is so tight with every team. Next year, a few more will have cap space for more movement. That as well. And I think I've been told that the Pelicans want to remain flexible in that department as well. I think it's going to be interesting to do that once you extend Sadiq and Trey's contract. I'm not Trey, Herb's contract balloons a little bit. You're still gonna have some tax space flexibility. Like that's not going anywhere. But it's like, again, who gonna want to trade for Trey for $20 million? I'm for Herb. Who gonna want to trade for Herb for $20 million? It's gonna be tough. Drew said, I heard the Warriors want to trade. Yeah, they've been consistent for a while with that. You know, they've been very consistent. They got a good dude in Yaxel, though. Maybe he hits the ground running. I'm interested to see what happened with Draymond now. Wouldn't it be some shit if Draymond like, man, I'm out? Like, wouldn't that be some shit? Because even if he was out, who you gonna go sign? You gonna try to get Peyton Watson? If you ain't want to give up the picks for Trey Murphy, you can't give up picks up for Trey Watson now. I mean Peyton Watson now. Like you go unless you make him a crazy contract offer, which I don't even think you're in position to do. Like a lot of teams just like bro Squallow said, a lot of teams just ain't in position to really flex on motherfuckers. They not right now. The Lakers was the guys. That's why the Lakers was just like, yo, look, man, that's what we doing. We giving him 30 million, and they still ended up giving what damn near 3 firsts, if I'm not mistaken, for Walker Kessler, even with the cap space. So even if you was Golden State and you did have the cap space, hypothetically speaking, if you had the cap space, shit, you still was gonna have to up about two picks. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be tough because the league just is bare pickings right now. It's a bunch of think about the players we're talking about, right? Walker Kessler, Trey Murphy, Michael Porter Jr., Peyton Watson. They all like high-level role players. And these high-level role players demanding like 2 and 3 firsts. LaMelo got traded for 1 first, a swap, and some seconds. Like we in a very bizarre time in the league. Like it's crazy. It is crazy. Bayou Sniper said trade is a perfect puzzle piece for 30 teams in the league. I'm cool with the high asking price. I ever have reservations about how good he is for us. Handle a notch above Hawkins' defense is sus. Yeah, so my thing is I want to use him like Michael Porter Jr. Like, yo, if I had another shooter on the court, he wouldn't have to put the ball on the floor as much. Like, or Desmond Bain. Just use him like Desmond Bain. If you can do a cross, pull up jumper out of desperation, cool. But I want him in strictly catch and shoot, alley-oop, cut to the rim situations. Like I don't even want him having to get into his ISO bag on the real. Michael Porter Jr., Trey Murphy. Trey's cheaper. Michael Porter Jr. is better. That's the best way I can put it. Michael Porter Jr. is a better player. Trey's cheaper. I'll just say that, right? It's tough to call, you know what I'm saying? And Michael Porter Jr. champion. So I don't know, but Trey's younger and he's cheaper. So GS Squallow say Golden State picks not as valuable as the team that has their picks, somebody else's picks. That's a good point as well. It's a good point as well. La Navy Chief say if JP values goes up, are you trading at the deadline for a future player or letting his contract come off the books? Very good question. I guess it would just depend on who, because I would imagine this player that we're talking about would have to be distressed and or asking out. Because that's the only reason I can see him taking back Jordan Poole's expiring. Like that player would have to be distressed or asking out. Like the only player I can see getting moved again in that price range, like getting moved again, it's like Brandon Ingram. Like, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that again. So I probably would just let it fall off the books, honestly. Like, or if I could turn him into 2 like really solid role players, cool. And look, and there's a world, I don't know how like realistic the world is, but there's a world that he plays so well that you either forced to trade him or forced to give him like a decent extension, like maybe like 2 years, $40 million, something like that. Because there's a world where he plays very well, and now it's like, well, fuck, we can't just let him walk. Like we gotta either break him off, or what we gonna do? We gotta trade him before he becomes a free agent. So there's that world as well. Draymond, Louisiana Gal said Draymond about to get a $20 million a year deal. Boy, shout out to Draymond, because look, I know people got their reservations about Draymond with the Warriors, but it's like, again, where would you even spend that money right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not about to spend a block with no fucking Kuminga. You gonna go get Ben Mathurin? Like, you know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? So it's one of those things where like you better suit it bringing your leader back. Your leader is Draymond. Really, I mean, Draymond's the engine, the lifeline of the team. Yeah, Steph is Steph, but still, you know. Bayou Snipers, if the Pels hold their cap and salary situation on the books is really good, I'm cool with doing nothing, honestly. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, Bayou. I'm not cool with doing nothing. Draymond to the Lakers. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be some shit? Draymond to be the inside man. He like, LeBron, don't worry about it. I'm gonna burn the house down from the inside. I'm not cool with them doing nothing, Bayou. I'm not gonna lie. Because to me, and that's why I led the show with, look, you know the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? If we just run it back and don't do nothing, and we just counting on internal growth, to me, it's a slap in the face to Mosley to a degree, because we know what this roster needs. We know what the roster needs. I think the front office will be cheating themselves and doing themselves a disservice because there's a lot of people being hypercritical of the front office, and I think a lot of it's disingenuous. I think a lot of the criticism is disingenuous, truthfully. Like, because they just got here and they inherited a bunch of bullshit. So I think there are people who are hypercritical, and, you know, like I say, I think it's insincere, and some of the reasons are nefarious to a degree. I'll just put it that way. But you don't want to confirm some people's preconceived notions. Like, you don't want to confirm that you just resting on your laurels. Like, you not really trying your hardest to build up the roster. And I don't believe that's the case. I do believe that, you know, they are trying things. But I'm saying you just don't want to confirm that for people, because that once that horse is out, it's not coming back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once that happens, it's over. Like, the shit is over. And it might even be over for Mosley, to be real. Like, because people just never gonna believe no more. Like, the fan base is just like, oh, I knew it, and they just never gonna, you know. So the best case scenario is just make some around the edge marginal moves, and I think they could pay major dividends. Like, I like Bryce McGowan's person. I think that was another really good move the front office made, because with Bryce, I think if Bryce would have played more, we would have won more games. And it's crazy to say that, but how he was shoot, I think he shot like 40% on catch and shoot last season, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can fact check me. But bro was cool for what he was doing on the real. Let me catch up to some of y'all chats, man. Drew say Poole on expiring now, so he need to lock in this season. Absolutely, he gotta lock in. Fizz, Poole, Z, Trey, Eve starting. Your rim pressure from Fizz and Z, spacing with Trey and Poole in a high energy center, but the only thing is Trey and Poole sitting down on defense. Yeah, you really need Trey and Poole to at least have CJ's effort level. CJ would try defensively. He was overmatched, you know, physically, especially as he was getting upper in age. But you got to try. Like, you can't just get manhandled out there, in my opinion. Bayou say, shout out to my homie Joe in the building. What's the deal? Shout out to him, man. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with his channel as well. Bayou say the reason why I'm cool with it is because I know we're gonna run it back and be bad by the deadline. That forces the change we need. Doing little things that don't matter won't get anywhere. Well, I mean, that's a fair position as well. Say playing at best, that's a fair position as well. Whoa, what's up with your Ivy? 18 top 8 teams in the West next season. I'm gonna say, of course, OKC, San Antonio. Though, you know what? I feel like shit could go really left for the Rockets, but I'm gonna say Rockets, Lakers. Hopefully, Luka healthy. I'm gonna say Portland. I think Portland gonna be good. I fuck with Portland. Hold on, let me look real quick so I can give you a real answer. Timberwolves, hopefully that works out with LaMelo and them. And then I'm going to say, what is that, 7? I'm going to say Denver and Utah. Utah, honorable mention. If that was 7, I'm going to say Utah, honorable mention. But I'm going to say Denver and Utah. So Denver, to say it again, Denver, Mini, OKC, San Antonio, Portland, Utah, the Lakers, and the Rockets. I'm gonna say that. I do think shit could go left though. If Kevin Durant wild out, LaMelo wild out, anything can happen. Because I don't believe in windows being like open, or infinitely closed. Like I don't believe that. So shit could get crazy. Blueprint said you would think the front office would have made a move. At least Griffin was making moves, but we'll see how it goes. I think they're in a tough spot because they don't have second round picks. Don't got fucking second round picks. And I think if they had second round picks, bro, I honestly believe this Blueprint. If they had some seconds, we would have made a move or two by now. But especially, look, even if the move was just drafting Trevor in Brazil, because I know that they had some interest in Brazil this draft. If you walked away from that second round with Brazil, people feel better, right? Not saying that you still shouldn't have made other additional moves, but that's a nice marginal move for a guy that could give you some immediate impact. People would have felt better. But since you only had that 1 second that you got from the Jose shit, because Griff traded 4 picks, traded 4 seconds to move Devontae and traded another second to move Kyra Lewis Jr., it just puts you in a fucked up spot. Like, seriously. J-Dog said we still have interest in Kuminga. I think Kuminga might have overplayed his hand as well, honestly. I haven't heard anything about Kuminga recently, but I would believe that they would have some interest. I would believe that they would have some interest just based on some of the names we saw attached. Ivy said, wow, no Phoenix. I have Phoenix right there. Like, if we talk about if we saying like top 9, 10, I might throw Phoenix in there. But I think if Booker goes down, I don't know if I'm counting on Jalen. Oh, he hasn't missed any real time. I don't know if I'm counting on Jalen Green to be that guy. You got Miles Bridges, who I like a lot as a player. But I don't know. Like, I might put Phoenix. Phoenix, to me, I put Phoenix, Dallas, the Pelicans in the same group, and I might have the Kings slightly below that because I know the Kings trying to get rid of these people that they have. But I got I got Phoenix, the Pelicans, and Dallas kind of in the same group, depending on what Dallas decides to do. Like, if Dallas decides they're moving Gafford and PJ, then I'm like, oh, well, now it's Phoenix and the Pelicans. Like, in my opinion, because I think Utah's going to be good. Nola answer, I'm praying on the Rockets downfall. Because y'all remember at the top of the fucking off season, there was like, oh, the Rockets open to trading everybody except for Amen and like maybe one other person. And it's like that report never happened because we never heard that mentioned again. It's really like that report never happened. It's crazy. Bayou say we're better than the Grizz, Sac, Clippers, than Utah. I think our roster is better than the Rockets and Warriors. I hope the Pels surprise me. Me as well. I think right now you're better than the Warriors. I think you're better than the Clippers. I think you're better than Sacramento. Memphis, to me, Memphis has got like a lot of random people. They got a lot of people that's going to try hard. So I think you might be better than Memphis as well. But Utah, I think Utah got the edge. Utah just, I like Filipowski a lot, bro. Filipowski, Cole. I like Filipowski. Jaren Jackson Jr. That's a huge front court. I think didn't they bring Nurkic back? So Nurkic, Filipowski, Jaren Jackson Jr., Laurie Markkinen, Keontae George. Like, that's a hell of a fucking team. I ain't gonna lie. That's a lot of people, bro. Jordan said we're going to win 53 games. Jordan, you know what? It's too low, bro. 54, son. 54, 504, 9th Ward. Yes, indeed. Big 9. We going with 54 wins. Going 54 wins. Now, the worst case scenario, in my opinion, is reverse it. 35 wins, and this shit is a mess. But every season is different. That Utah should have traded for Ja. I kind of feel like Nike is the reason Ja's in Portland. I don't want to say too much, but I kind of feel like Nike has something to do with Ja being in Portland. It just makes sense to me that he would be in Portland, where the Nike is like, that's like the hometown for Nike. He's the number one Nike athlete right now. Just would make some sense for me, I think. J-Dog said the Portland relocation has me wondering if Gail ever signed an extension with the city. She signed one for the Saints, but I can't find anything on the Pelicans. Well, I know they're working on that. Shout out Louisiana girl right there. Shout out to you, homie. She said they're working on it right now with the hopes of it being completed by the fall. I think the length of the new agreement would be 10 years, like the Saints agreement. Yeah, that's the interesting thing they did with the Saints. Was it 10 years for the option, like every other year, something weird like that? Really bizarre. Oh, Darren Peterson. How can I forget Darren Peterson? Ace Bailey. Like, Utah got a hell of a fucking roster. Now, look, that's the benefit you know what? It's funny because they've tanked all these years and they finally got the number one pick. But now they changed the rules. So that's another reason why it's tough to rebuild, because even if you go into a rebuild mode, like now your odds of getting the number one pick or like a team cornerstone franchise altering player, it has lessened dramatically if you're a bad team. Like there's almost, I mean, people are still going to tank to some degree, but there's more incentive now in barely missing the playoffs. Like right now, I think the best place you could be right now, I think is probably like 11th in the East, 11th. Well, I don't want to be in the East, period. So I'm gonna say 11th in the West. The Pelicans or any team, the almost best place you could be is 11th in the West. I want to make the postseason, so I'm not rooting for 11th in the West, but I'm saying I think it's one of the better places for teams to be if they're looking to tank. So that's something to take into consideration as the like going toward the end of the season, depending on how the season looks. If you got a team like Memphis that's like, oh boy, we 10th, or we need to lock up this 11th in in the West, or we need to lock up this 11th overall in the NBA. Like we can't make the play-in. We sitting everybody. Or the Kings, we sitting everybody. We can't make the play-in. Like I think you're gonna see some of that. Because I think a lot of teams not going to want to make that motherfucking play-in, boy, and sacrifice that additional percentage. No, if you're in the building, you haven't hit the like button, do me a favor, hit that like button, man. We're going to get out of here soon. Black is Nerd. Shout out to the homie Joe. He say, Pelicans should get the first pick every year, then we are the greatest at being mediocre. Yo, you know what's crazy, bro? It's funny you say that. Under the old, if these new lottery rules were in place like the last few years, the Pelicans and the Miami Heat would have, well, you can't win it like twice, I think, or you can't have 2 or 3 top picks in the same year, or something along those lines. Like this year, I think the highest Utah can get it is pick 6. So that kind of fuck over Memphis, to be honest. So this year, the high, because Memphis owns their pick, if I'm not mistaken. So this year, the highest Utah could get is like pick 6. So if you was the Pelicans though, and you was like making the play in and shit like that, you really had an opportunity. Like, you know what I'm saying? You really had an opportunity to get the number one pick. In Miami was in the shit last year in the play-in. Bam, go down, and they barely lost. Like, so I think they would have had an opportunity at the number one pick if I understand the rules correctly. Because we're not gonna really understand this shit until we see it in action. Shout out to the homie Benny in the building, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to you. 10 Jews. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. I gotta look up and see what that means, man. But I appreciate it nevertheless, man. Thank y'all, man. I definitely appreciate y'all. Yo, I'm gonna go ahead and get out here, man. Much love to everybody who tapped in tonight. Make sure y'all have a safe, blessed, prosperous weekend, man. The other day, my dad's 60th birthday, you know what I'm saying? We went out and did it big. But if you're not following me, make sure you follow me on Twitter. You follow me here. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification. Follow me on Instagram at ChatterChat, CHEDDACHAZ. Tap in with my dog Elvin Pals in the blender. Make sure y'all go follow Cullen and Nando's new channel. They got something they working on. Make sure you go follow the homie E-Dog, Joe. Follow everybody. Greg. This show support to the chat, man. Show love. Bayou Sniper, his new channel. Make sure y'all tap in, man. Much love to y'all. Be safe. Have a blessed, prosperous week, man. We out. Let's get these fucking W's this season, because I don't want to be coming on here talking about no nightmare scenario. I want to be coming on this bitch talking about how we whooping ass. So let's do it. Shout out to the homie Jess, man. Good night to you as well. We out.